And now we move on to Christian. He's an email marketing specialist on a mission to make segmentation in email marketing a term that every household e-commerce brand is implementing into strategy. Are you here?
I am.
We see a black box.
There you go.
Hi.
There you go. Good to see you guys.
So how do you as a segmentation expert, how do you feel about such kind of emails that Ben showed us just a minute ago?
Yeah, only text and
Should they be segmented into really like small, narrow groups and with their personal messages, or?
I find that the more data that you can leverage upon in your audience, the better. So I would segment people into different kind of groups in the by the specific data properties, and then make the copy resonate with the specific audience that you are targeting. That would be my approach, and that is also the reason why I will explain a bit more about the whole world of segmentation and the use of zero-party data and first-party data in your email marketing. So yeah, I would definitely segment people out and make copy that resonates with the specific audience. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Can't hear.
Of course. I will just share my screen. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. So thank you so much for clicking into this presentation. The presentation that I'm going to talk about in the coming 25 to 30 minutes is going to be about how you, as a business owner or agency owner or else, can leverage upon your zero-party data in your segmentation. And segmentation is like my bread and butter. I have a company called Segmentation where we work specific with segmentation and the use of first-party data to leverage more on the data kind of side of email marketing to build resonating copy and make appealing and relevant communication at scale. So the presentation that I will do in the coming 25 to 30 minutes is about how you can convert site traffic to customers by building real relationships and hyper-personalizing your website, your emails, and your SMS by using first and zero-party data. So, great. I'll just go to the next step. Just a quick introduction. Me and my partner Casper have about plus 16 years of experience in the e-com niche. I've worked with e-com and marketing automation in about 3 to 4 years right now. And we really found that when we have worked with e-com in such a long time, we found that for more than a decade, e-commerce marketing have been built on the backbone of third-party data and rendered relationship, as I say it in terms of the Google and Facebook data that we buy. And most e-com owners still rely on first-party data right now without even realizing the situation that they're actually putting themselves in because they don't own the data that they get from their subscribers or their customers. So we actually wanted to make a change to that by leveraging segmentation and real human brain science. The people that know me know that when I was a little guy, I actually wanted to be a brain surgeon because I had real interest in inside of brain science and how the brain works and how you can use that data to make more appealing copy and communication from a person to another person. So we built that by leveraging segmentation and human brain science to build revenue channels for our international clients, with the use of first-party data, which, for your understanding, made upwards of 45 to 56% of the total revenue for their store, just from email only. We have seen an average CTR increase at 46% and a recurrent customer rate at 13%. So my mission today and the mission statement is actually that you can go from looking like this to feeling like a segmentation rock star. And that I will do in the coming 25 to 30 minutes. So me and Casper sat together and actually tried to figure out how we can leverage upon this segmentation and the data properties that we actually are collecting from our customers. And we made this mission statement that, what can you say, we put it in stone, and it actually says, how can we make the most relevant present communication in our customers' emails as much as possible using first and zero-party data? And I really found a quote from a Danish entrepreneur from Trondheim that really resonates with this, which is, today's emails should earn tomorrow's open. And that is really the what can I say, the agenda for this presentation is actually that I will show you what segmentation is, what it's really not is, and why it is important. I will go about how you can make segmentation easier to understand and leverage upon. I will go about segmentation with segment CMS system and codes. I'll go into my five-step plan so you can implement automatic segmentation today instead of tomorrow, and a quick summary of this presentation at the end of this presentation. So I will just take this up here. Great. So on the first hand, me and Casper experienced that the use of first-party data was a way of personalizing a whole customer journey across all campaigns, all audiences, all automatic flows, to scale with the use of segmentation to acquire data points from our subscribers. And as I mentioned before, in our business name, which is Segmento, we actually took the segment and then erased the Asian and just made Segmento out of that. When we're talking about segmentation as an email marketing strategy term, and the way I like to explain it, it's actually a bit more broad than you probably think. I think segmentation is the way that we can split different people on behalf of their customer data properties from their behavioral data, their persona property data, their location data, their buying behavior data, their interest segment data, which products they are mostly interested in, the desired volume, design, and content of the emails that we actually send to the subscriber, the customer type, if they're red, blue, green, yellow archetype, or and by the trigger events data, if they're engaged, if they're unengaged, how many times they have visited the site, how many times they have put something into the cart, or if they just is unengaged. So that is segmentation that I really think is the way to describe it even further. So why is segmentation actually important in 2023? I find it important because personalized information is necessary to make better email KPIs. I find that with the data regulations and the privacy sandbox campaign that is probably being outrolled here in Q3 in 2023, it's making it harder for e-commerce businesses to stand out and actually leverage upon that data that they're collecting through the cookies or the data that they're getting from their Shopify store. There have also been a data change in Shopify's algorithm actually with CMS systems because of the way that the data is being transferred over to our CMS systems here in February. So the data is going away where it's being a more privacy first solution, and you have to build upon that by leveraging the segmentation and get the first party data and zero party data that you actually own, instead of just relying on the data transferring or the data that you're buying from, example, Facebook or Google. So it's actually also the iOS 15 privacy mail update, which was enrolled in 2022. Close to 60% of users with a phone is Apple, and the mail privacy protection actually hides your IP address, so senders can't link it to your other online activities or behavioral data, exactly like active on site or checkout started or placed order and such. So the data transferring is being harder to what can you say, to look at and actually make a specific direction that you can take with that data. So what can you actually do about it? The first thing that you can do in your ESP is actually to segment Apple's privacy protection mail inboxes out of your current audience by the subscribers that are opening their mail through Apple Mail, and then you can build out the amount of first-party data that your business own. So why is the data crisis so important to monitor? It's because your subscribers crave relevant and present communication rather than average and sometimes irrelevant communication. And the way then you can make relevant and specific communication is by segmenting people out in regards to their data properties and the interest fields or the products that they have visited, because we're not the same. So we have different data properties and different problems that need to be addressed to make a relevant copy and a intriguing subject line that makes the email be opened and actually also be clicked. So algorithms is changing and the CPMs is rising. You can actually see from the graph in the right here that the CPM prices have increased from 2017 to 2021. It's not a new thing that it's being at its costs more to advertise on Facebook and Google. So that is also a reason why I think that you should make it a part of your strategy to collect this first-party data, because in your email marketing you can send one campaign a day, you can send 2 campaigns a day into different segments instead of just sending, you can say, 2 to 3 emails a week. Then you can send to more specific segments, which make the copy and the design and the products more intriguing to the specific subscriber in that segment, which probably will increase your KPIs such as open rate, click rate, and your placed order rate per subscriber. So I will just talk a bit about rented versus owned marketing. So rented versus owned marketing, difference in between those is that I see rented audience data and rented marketing as a way to attract new people onto your website. About 98 to 95% of the people that are visiting your site aren't going to convert and actually are leaving your site again. So you aren't having any data about those specific people if you aren't getting them onto your newsletter or collecting data from the people. So when a person is visiting your site and are doing any sorts of actions, you can set up a retargeting campaign, and you can actually make sure to send advertising or a video or a image out to those people that have visited your site, but you aren't actually getting any data from those. You're just paying Facebook to set up a retargeting campaign and sending that out and displaying it in front of your audience. So with owned marketing, you actually attract new people to a website with prospecting ads from Facebook to Google and so on. And you start a relationship by leveraging upon zero-party data from a pop-up. It could be a slide-in, it could be a quiz. I'll get them onto those examples later on in the presentation, but it's just to build a deeper relationship with your customers in regards to their interest, their product's interest, and getting those people onto your newsletter by leverage upon segmentation and the pop-ups and the slide-ins. So instantly, this gives the subscriber personalized product recommendation, and you actually gather data points from your subscribers on the website that you can use to send out emails to that specific person. It could be retargeting emails, it could be add to cart emails, it could be placed order emails, and so on. But you gather the data and you own the data from the person instead of just buying it from Facebook and showing the retargeting ad in front of them. So how can you make segmentation easier to understand and leverage? I see that the better that you make you can make segmentation easier for yourself by following a specific plan and the step guide that I will display later on in the presentation. But for making segmentation easier for yourself, it's actually to look more on your flow structure, because this is one of the flow structures that we have implemented for one of our clients, where we have the pre-funnel, the top funnel, the middle funnel, the bottom funnel, and the retention campaigns. And they have specific emails. So in the pre-funnel, we have the pre-qualification. So a person that gets onto our subscriber list, they actually go through a pre-funnel flow, where the pre-qualification mail is just to gather information from those. So we have a specific pop-up or slide in to the front page, the product page, the contact us page, the checkout page just to gather subscribers from our website and from the traffic that they already have on the site. So the person are getting into the pre-qualification mail, and actually then we have set the email up with some codes that by which of the buttons that they are clicking, we actually gather data properties that we can use later on in the welcome series. So when our subscribers are getting into the welcome series, the communication is specific to the individual subscriber. So the products that is being displayed, the images that is being shown, the copy that is being made and resonates with the subscriber is individual to the specific person, individual of their data properties. So you can see in the right here, we have a we set it up in different categories. So we actually have a client that is selling beauty wear, exactly. So the data properties that we will collect from that is the age, the skin type, the skin concern, the skin tone, the allergies, the style, the existing routine, if it's a man or a woman, the budget example-wise. So by leveraging upon that data, we can make specific communication and leverage upon the first and zero-pi data to show products that resonates with their skin type, their skin concerns, their skin tone, and the allergies, just to display products and copywriting that actually resonates with their specific problem and their specific concerns in regards to buying our product. So we make it specific to the specific person. So with segmentation, the customer profile will look a bit more like this. Instead of just having the first name, the email address, and probably also their address from the checkout page, we also have the birthday, we have their skin type. You can see it at the left with Jared. He has oily skin, he has skin concerns as irritations. He has some allergies with sulfates, so it doesn't make sense to show him any products that contain sulfates. He have a budget at about $80 per month, and he is interested in serums. So it doesn't really make sense to show to show other products than serums in the start, and then collect more data when our relationship is going deeper. So then you can see Victor, which have this birthday and the skin type of normal skin. He has pimples, he has no allergies, and a budget at $130. And that is data that we're collecting in the pre-funnel flow to get people into the welcome series and make it segmented in the welcome series. So when Victor is receiving a mail, it's different from when Jared receives a mail. And then when they're getting into the add to cart, or they're getting into the abandoned checkout, or they're getting into the placed order or the win back series, they're actually getting segmented communication in all of the emails and all of the flows that we have set up on the specific account for this clients. So we can apply these data across the whole flow structure, from product catalogs to splits to copywriting to images and to other paid channels, and then collect data that we are missing from each subscriber by this simple data niche setup. So with broader segmentation, the customer profile will look a bit more like this when the person had been through the welcome series and the pre-funnel flow. We actually figured out that the desired frequency of emails could be about 4 emails a week. It could be that the address is in Copenhagen, Denmark. It could be that his country is Denmark and his preferred communication is sales. It could also be that Melissa actually just wanted a preferred communication as recommendations. She just wants to be shown some products that is recommended specifically for Melissa. So the problem statement, you probably sit and think, how can I set this up, or how can I leverage upon this? And how can I actually make this work? There is about 5 ways that you can leverage upon the first party data and zero party data. And it is actually through a integration between your CMS and your ESP, your email service provider, to leverage upon the data from point 1 to build out segments on first party data. It is free segmentation and data property collection with the use of codes inside of your emails. It is 4, to get people to insert the data into a preference page by themselves. And 5, to leverage upon pop-ups and conversational slide-ins. So how do we make this work? The first one is actually just to make the integration between your CMS and your ESP. So the integration will actually make it possible to collect behavioral and customer commerce data in real time through the integration with your CMS and EPS, and you can leverage upon that inside your emails. Then you can leverage upon the data from point A and build out segments on first-party data. I will suggest that you build out the engagement, unengaged, frequent bias, non-bias, property data split. I would suggest to set up a desired frequency of emails, discount code to buy or not, product interest segments, predicted purchase segments, and probability of churn segments, which is just about eight possibilities, which is not that many, but you can make so much more with your segmentation. In regards to the third point, it is segmentation and data property collection with the use of codes. I use this code in the right, and you can just paste it from the presentation. This code will transfer data by a click of a button, so you can paste it onto your button, and inside the profile property, I would just say it could be if you just want to have a sizing of their trousers, you can say. Then I would say trousers. In the property value, I would say it could be 32, 38, and then the redirect link onto that specific product or onto your site. So you can see how we leverage the code on the next slide. Segmentation and data property collection with the use of codes can be used in these kind of ways. You can in the left, then you can click to add your size to cart. Then you can click on you can say the sizing small, and then we know that the person would like a small in their sizes. Then we can take that data property and only show products that have the sizing of the small instead of a medium or large or extra small. We can also do that by leveraging upon this data in shoe sizes, in shirt sizes, and so on. It's actually the creativity that is our only friend. So I also talked about the pop-ups and conversational slides. There are some ways that you can implement pop-ups and full-page forms and conversational slide-ins to collect far more first-party data daily from your subscribers, which is actually being displayed onto your site or in your Instagram stories without you even working on it. So the first thing that we actually strategize with our clients is the pre-subscribe funnel, which is pop-ups and conversational slide-ins. It could be that in the top right corner. The post-subscribe funnel could be that in the left bottom corner, which is a test that we send people into so we can gather more information about the specific subscriber. And then you can use a post-quiz funnel. In the pre-subscribe funnel, we have actually leveraged a full-page form, which is in the right bottom corner, which we set up for an outdoor client. With that link, you can paste it inside your Instagram stories with a link, so people that is seeing your already seeing your Instagram stories can actually click on that link and get onto your site where they can subscribe, and it's completely free. We have leveraged it with very good success. So you can actually set up your welcome series and post-purchase series like this one as in Octane. So we actually have a flow that says when someone has taken the quiz, they are getting some information about their quiz results, but we are actually also gathering more information upon that data we have collected from the quiz that they have just submitted. So it's the full series just to gather as much information about each specific subscriber to leverage upon in your flows and the communication that you send, in your copywriting, in your design, and in your products that you show in your emails, both in your campaign emails and in your flow emails. So how do you really leverage this? You leverage this by a easy 5-step plan to implement automatic segmentation today instead of tomorrow. The first action step is actually to start out with the simple possibilities of segmentation. I just encourage you to get to know your audience by their engagement, their behavioral customer purchase data, and the data that you're already collecting from your CMS into your EPS. I would also suggest with the action step to get an overview of each individual data point that would make sense for your specific business, and make a plan to collect those throughout the pre-sign-up and post-sign-up funnel in your pre-funnel flow, or in your welcome series, or on your website. I would also suggest with the action step 3 to set up multiple slide-ins, quizzes, and in-email questionnaires with the use of codes to collect the most amount of data. So make sure to collect subscribers on front, product, checkout, contact us, receipt page, Instagram stories, and so on. In the action step 4, I would leverage upon the segmentation, and actually just when you're building your automation flows, just make sure to leverage upon the data that you already has been collecting to make it more segmented and more relevant at scale to the specific customer. Remember that it's the first email that they actually see from your brand. So make it stand out with relevant communication and copywriting, and the products that are being displayed to be a recommendation to the specific subscriber. And in the action step 4, I would just get an overview of the amount of data collected on each subscriber by putting them into different segments, and set system in place to make sure that you're collecting the missing amount of data properties per subscriber. And at least just sit back and relax and start feeling like a segmentation rockstar. Thank you so much for your time. This was my presentation about segmentation, and we are, of course, Segmentation, me and Kasper, and it's great to see what can be achieved with our collaboration if it doesn't make matter who gets the credit for the work. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Christian.
So we have a huge amount of questions.
A lot of questions, yes. Long forms. How do you feel about those? We have seen from our clients that if you start asking questions, they are not so eager to answer. You get the email address really quickly, maybe email, maybe you get something else.
Name.
You can get something from purchase history, maybe something from CRM or sales software or e-commerce software, but you had a lot of data points there. How do you get this information? Do you really ask, and do they really answer?
It actually, just to be transparent about the use of the data properties. So we are very transparent with our clients and our subscribers about what the data points are being used for in regards to making more relevant and specific communication to the subscriber. So instead of just hiding what the data is actually being used for, we actually make it a thing that stands out, and we're actually talking about, okay, if you give us this data point, we will actually make sure to only send you relevant communication on your behalf instead of on our behalf.
Okay, but do you get 100% coverage, or what coverage do you get? We have seen like 30, 40, maximum 50% people will give this data.
In the quizzes that I show with the skin types, the test that I show, we have actually a 99.8% completion rate. Wow. when we get people onto there. We use a software called Octane AI to that. So we have a completion rate about 99.8%, and it's just to be transparent about the data that we are collecting. We only collect the property like email, the first name, and if it's a man or a woman when they're getting onto the subscribed list, just to get them on. And then it's in the pre-funnel and in the welcome series that we actually are collecting it in their whole customer journey. So we're not forcing that they should give the data property, but we actually are making it look like that if we can make it more relevant to you, if we can make our copywriting and our communication stand more out to you, then we need this data. And you can look forward to receiving these emails that is specific to you, so you feel like that you are being listened to instead of just being bombarded with spam emails. I'm
sure you give out free iPads too, in exchange of data.
Yeah.
But data changes over time. For example, you had their budget. People get richer or poorer. How do you update this data over time?
We look at the behavioral data. So if people, they have bought at a specific rate you can say 1 to 2 months they have bought at a specific card value at about, you can say $80, and then they go out and buy at $60 or $50 on them, then we get in and changed accordingly to that.
Okay, but maybe you make it really good promotional campaigns with cheap offers.
Of course.
But then you see that their budget is getting smaller, but actually they would like to, they can buy also more expensive things.
Yeah. We're looking on the behavioral data and the whole data setup instead of just making conclusions on one of the primary data points.
Okay, there is a question from the audience. How do you collect GDPR compliant info from website? How do you can make sure that this is GDPR compliant?
One of the few things that we are implementing in that is actually we have the small text under the unsubscribe. Of course, we're making it very. You can say that we're making it a bit hard for ourselves to get the subscriber onto the news list, because they have to check out the checkbox, they have to read our text, and it's a multi-step form, so it's not just one side. It's actually 3 sides that they have to get through to actually get onto the newsletter, just to make sure that the person is compliant and actually have read our text.
Okay, but with GDPR, you have to like ask for permission for every thing you do. I have seen forms with like 3 or 4 checkboxes. First of all, I agree in participating in this campaign. Secondly, I agree in getting marketing emails. Thirdly, I agree getting profiled, and so you can ask me a lot more information to send me more relevant offers. Do you have experience with such things? How do you segment, or how do you like manage those different type of rights that have been given to you?
I segmented into different categories in specific, so people aren't getting into more list just by a click of a button. We segment people out and just talk transparent with them in terms of which information they would be interested most in.
Okay, and who is doing the content? If you have already like so many segments, do you like work together daily with the client about what to send, how frequently to send, how
We're
to
building.
personalize? Sorry.
We're building upon a whole content plan. So we are building out a content plan. So we're always at about 7 to 40 days in the future. So we have it planned out and scheduled. So in regards to the design and the copywriting, we segment people out, not in segments that only have about 50 people. We segment people out, so they probably have about 50 to 500 to you can say 1,000 or 2,000 people in a specific segment, and then we do use the data properties in the email. So not just in the segments, but in the email to make it stand out.
Okay.
Yeah.
With custom segments based on, for example, behavior, do you have some kind of like really good examples where you see that, all right, this is a really nice small or whatever segment that works really well, like exceptionally better than everything else that you have? Do you have something like that?
We have been setting up some segments in regards to the remarketing. So people that have shown a broader interest in a specific purchase, or have seen some products. It could be 4 times the last 2 days. So we combine the audiences that would trigger a browser abandonment flow and the add to cart flows, but haven't really made a purchase. That really stood out to us when we set up the segments.
Okay.
So make a remarketing setup.
Okay. There is a question. As a customer, when I fill in those forms, most of the time, I'm not sure which fields or options to fill in. In this case, I choose multiple. I would be segmented to multiple segmentation groups. This may end up me receiving loads of emails that I'm not actually interested in. How do you solve this? Automatically, probably.
by filtering people out of specific segments. So we aren't setting up a sign-up form where people can choose multiple different segments. If they have different interests, we make sure to have that into account when we are sending the campaign out, in regards to not sending free campaigns out in the same day. So we just have we have an overview of the sends per week.
Okay, is there like something like a priority list of which campaign the customer will get? Probably with
We see a difference between that there is a lot of transactional campaigns that is being sent out, and I actually found a better KPIs when we try to be educational on that level in regards to the brand, or in regards to the products that the customers has actually purchased. So if you have purchased a specific you can see a backpack for outdoor running, then I would make sure to make a campaign to those people that have bought the specific bag or in that category, to get some recommendations on how to use it and how to actually make it last longer. So we look at that data and then sculpt a campaign email out of that.
Okay, you showed us some examples about beauty products. We have some clients also who are in the beauty e-commerce field, and they have a problem where women buy women's stuff, sometimes men's stuff, maybe sometimes also baby creams or something like that.
And men don't buy anything.
Men buy usually men's stuff, but also sometimes women's stuff for giving out as gifts. How do you solve like segmenting in such? What I mean is that options are so vague. There are a lot of products you can offer, but usually there is like a pattern, and sometimes they buy something as a gift. You like exclude those somehow, or
We're looking at the overall segment. So if there is some people that buy gifts or use discount codes, or not use discount codes, or buy in you can say in anniversary dates, it could be upwards to Mother's Day or Father's Day and so on, then we make sure to look for those customers if they buy at close at the at dates that is a big anniversary, and segment those into a specific segment. But we really can't go in and look at the data and see, okay, this man just bought for his girlfriend. We can't really segment that out. So we just send it to the overall segment, and then have a section in the email where if you're buying a gift or so on, then you can click here, accept wise.
okay. There is a question about educational emails also. Is it necessary to segment if you send out weekly educational newsletters? What do you think about this?
You should segment if it's about a specific product, because it makes more sense to get a email about a product that you have just bought. You could say from 7 to 40 to about 30 days ago. So I would segment that out. If it's just an educational, you say a newsletter or email about your a new product in line, or your business, or the way that your business was built from the bottom, then I would not segment that out. I would just segment the unengaged people out of the email campaign.
Okay.
Because those people is already in the Winback and Sunset series.
Okay. One last thought that I have about retail. Do you have some experience with that also? Because we have some customers who are in retail. They have like stores, physical stores, and they also have an e-shop. Do you somehow combine the data from offline and online together for segmentation, or is it separate?
We actually have a segment for one of our outdoor clothing clients. So they have a physical store located here in middle of Jutland, and we actually make sure to have a segment about the subscribers that is in about 30 to 40 kilometers of the physical store, and make it so it's physical sales inside the store, and they have to get into the store to get the discount. So yeah.
Okay, and the information is somehow exchanged between softwares automatically, so you can take it into account.
It's through your CMS and the ESP program, yeah. When a person have bought when a person have bought in a CMS system, the data is being transferred.
All right, thank you, Christian.
Of course, man.
Cool.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, really cool. I think the segmentation part is the future. This is where everything should go. And if you are not doing this today, you are being left behind your competition.
Yeah, and as we talked about, but okay, we have one last question. So this is why I told about this micro segmentation. What do you think? Is it like really the thing that you will segment it like, I don't know, up to 5 or 10 people? You know absolutely everything. Is it the case, or this is like too much work and hassle to work with those extremely small segments?
I would look at the brand, and I would look at the amount of subscribers. So if you have about, let's say, 5,000 subscribers, I would just take the 8 segments that I presented inside of this presentation. But if you have like we had a brand with 500,000 subscribers, we implemented those into about 25 to 30 segments just to really get people out in regards to the data properties and the amount of activity that they actually have, just to make relevant communication at scale. So look at the brand and look at the subscriber count and the amount of segments that you actually think that you need, instead of just thinking, okay, I need to segment, that's the future, I just need to do it. Just start at small and then build out. I would suggest that.
Okay.
Okay, and probably it's a good idea also to look what your competition is doing by subscribing, by seeing how they collect data, and you can learn also how to do it yourself better.
Yeah. I would just look at the. I always look at the brand and look at the subscribers' activity and just think, how can I make this email the most relevant email that you receive today? That's the only thing that I actually think about, and then I make the segments in regards to the campaign design and the campaign copywriting and so on. So just think, how can I make this email and how can I make this email the most relevant email that they receive today, and just have respect for their inbox. That's the last thing that I actually have to say. Just have respect for people's inboxes.
That's good. That's really good. Thank you, Christian.
Thank you so much, man.